Welcome to Click to Startup, an entrepreneurial video series where we invite subject matter mentors to answer our most frequently asked questions from startup founders and small business owners via quick and easy how-to videos. My name is Jillian Bradley, and I'm the program coordinator for Opportunity Machine, Lafayette Center for Entrepreneurs. If you would like to submit a question on an entrepreneurial topic to be answered in an upcoming video, please email us at hello@opportunitymachine.org. Today's speaker is Lauren Dooley. She's here to help us navigate search engine optimization. Lauren is the Digital Marketing Director at BBR Creative. With over 8 years of marketing experience, she works with businesses across our region to help them improve their online presence. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi, thanks, Jillian. Thank you for having me. Really happy to be a part of this series. We'll be talking about SEO today, so hopefully I can demystify it a bit for everyone and we can see how easy it actually can be. So we'll jump right in. Breaking it down, SEO or search engine optimization efforts can be grouped into 3 categories: on-page, technical backend, and off-page optimizing. The point of optimizing your websites for search engines is to be found. Google reports there are 3.5 billion searches that happen every day on their platform. That's 40,000 searches per second. We call these phrases that searchers type into Google a search query. A query can be someone looking up a recipe or directions to a nearby coffee shop. So depending on the search query itself, the physical location of the searcher, and that person's recent search history, Google drums up a search engine's results page showcasing websites it deems fit for that person. So search engine optimization is foundationally just aligning our content on the website to best match with what people are actually typing into Google. That doesn't sound so bad, hopefully. We'll take a deeper look at each one of these for optimization. We'll start with on-page optimization. One thing to remember, if you don't remember anything else today, is that SEO is all about content, and the good strategy starts with interesting content. Good content supplies a demand. People go to your website for the information and they'll keep coming back because you're that thought leader on that source. So you should definitely, we don't want to be like copying and pasting content from other websites. That's definitely a big no-no. And I mean, you can link to other sites, which is totally fine, but the vast majority of your content should be fresh and come from your company's own unique perspective. I also like to ask the question, does the page pass the scan test? Can someone quickly scan through your page and understand the gist of the content without having to think too hard, basically? And of course, do they know what to do? Is there a clear call to action on the page? Do we want them to call the store, sign up for your newsletter, or maybe even schedule an appointment? So we'll have interesting content, scan check, clear call to action check. Next, we want to focus on the actual keywords on the page. Each page on your website should have no more than one primary keyword. You can have multiple secondary keywords, but each page on your site should be ranking for at most one focus keyword, or at least a topic. That way, Google can identify your page as a resource on that topic. A focus keyword, let's say for a local ice cream shop, for instance, may be ice cream and coffee shop, Lafayette, Louisiana. The secondary keyword for the page may be vegan ice cream, if that's something you have on your menu. The way that we let search engines know what a focus keyword is kind of brings us to our next one. H1, H2s, H2 and H3s, I think it goes all the way up to 6, are ways that you mark your content to tell Google which of the words on your page they should pay attention to. So we would mark ice cream shop Lafayette, Louisiana as the H1 and vegan ice cream as the H2. This is a bit more technical than some of just regular on-page content, but most CMS platforms like WordPress and some of the other ones, It's fairly simple. It just takes a little extra work. And just doing this could exponentially improve your performance across Google and other search sites. And lastly, you definitely want to practice something that's called internal linking. So this essentially means linking on one page of your site to another page on your site. This lets Google know that you are an authority on the subject. You have extra content about that topic. And also it just keeps users on your site for longer. So it's just keeping them from going to your competitors. Next, we'll look at technical SEO, call it like technical backend SEO. This may require some help from someone who's a bit more savvy with CMS platforms, but ultimately a couple of YouTube how-tos can get you through them. Title tags and meta descriptions are essentially your organic search ad copy. Title, which is basically your page title, and meta descriptions are right under it when you're looking at a Google page, is pulled from your website directly. So it's not enough. If you don't go in and optimize these and put in your own content, Google's just going to pull something generic from the page, from your website, and it may not be the best sentence or the best title, the best information foot forward that you want to put. It's not enough to just get on the first page of Google anymore. There are at least 10 other listings there. Optimizing your title and meta will help your listings be more competitive on the page. So remember that each page has title and meta. So you have to do this for each page on your website. And it's best to include primary and secondary keywords in the title and the meta description. And one thing you definitely want to make sure you're paying attention to is page speed. There is a new algorithm update that will be coming in 2021 that will sites will now be ranked on page speed. So one thing that you can do is go into Google and type in page speed test, Google's Lighthouse audit page speed test, and test some of the pages on your site. And I highly recommend testing for desktop and mobile devices. Typically, upwards of 80% of traffic to your website is now on a mobile device, and we can only expect for that to increase over time. And lastly, Schema, which is definitely the most technical of all of these. So you probably will need a little assistance, but the schema on a website is very similar to what we talked about with H1 and H2s. It's the code on the back end that speaks to the search engine for them to know what to do with the content. So for content types like recipes, frequently asked questions, and even listicles, you'll want to add additional schema markup on the back end of your site so the search engine will know how to pull that into the search engine results page. This will also exponentially help your website rank on Google. Next, we'll look at authority building. This one is the one where we start building connections. Authority building, at the end of the day, is another ranking factor that Google uses for websites. So its authority to Google is basically, can your site be trusted? There are millions of websites across the internet, and Google algorithm has no way to know whether you're a trusted site or not. So one thing that Google uses are these authority ranking factors to determine whether your site can be trusted or not. One of those is backlinks. So this is very simply links that go back to your website from other sites. You can manage this various ways, but just asking is one way. Emailing someone if they're mentioning your company, but maybe they didn't link back to your site, you can just contact that person and ask them kindly to add you. Many things, and here's some other ones. That active social media accounts like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are now, they weren't always, but they're now ranking factors and authority building factors for Google. listing and review sites. So these can be good or bad depending on how you're faring on those at any given time. But sites like Yelp, Rotten Tomatoes, even the Better Business Bureau site is a listing site where people can leave reviews and it links back to your site. That helps build site authority. So if you do have a business, you may want to create an account with these review sites because it does help build accountability for your site. And one thing that you don't want to forget about that can be easily forgot is forums. So forums like Reddit, and there are even industry specific forums like this one that I found here. I just typed in baking forums and this one popped up, and it was just people all over the world talking about baking. So if I had a company that sold baking items or goods, you can go on those forums and one, review and see if you are mentioned there and link back to your site, and also just join the conversation. And lastly is sponsored content. So clicks from email. Did you appear in someone else's email with a link back to your website? Other people's blog posts. Did you do a sponsored blog post? That's a link back as well. And then even shout out from podcasts if you are on someone's podcast show and you mention your website, or definitely if you do appear on the podcast, on the page that they post the podcast on, ask for your site to be listed there. All of these things tell Google that you are a trusted source and will make you more likely to appear on search engine results page. So now that we've kind of broken down all of the typical SEO moves, we'll think a little bit outside of the box now. So on the right, you can see a query I typed into the search bar to make my point, basically. If you look right under all, you can see that there are 74 million results for the phrase components of SEO. I can try my best as a marketer to beat out those 74 million other established web pages for this query, or I can think a little bit outside of the box. You can see that there are quite a few images at the top of this search engine results page. So one thing I could do to rank would be to create a quality image and create an alt tag for that image, which is on the back end of your website. Again, not hard to do. And include your focus keyword on the alt tag of the image. So that is one other way that you can try and appear on Google without needing an actual, 1,000 word essay on the topic. One thing I will say about alt tags is, like I said, anytime it's on the back end of your website. So when you're adding an image to your website, usually there'll be an area to add an alt tag. And you may have skipped over that step in the past. But what you'll want to do is include what is in the image, because alt tags are actually how screen readers it's what they use to spell out what is in an image for a visually impaired person, which makes your website more ADA compliant. But at the same time, you can utilize your keywords in the alt tag to help you rank on social. So it's like two birds, one stone, right? On the left are a list of all the current components. These change, but all the current components of Google engine results pages. This list houses many other opportunities to rank on Google outside of the typical blog posts. You can create a video series and optimize for your focus keyword, or get picked up on a news site and appear in the news feed based on your target. Maps, shopping, even finance, depending on your business, may apply and can help you grow your digital footprint with half the effort. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into maps because I think it's really great for small businesses. Google Maps is a great way for local businesses to get found. What you see here is a local pack, and it refers to the search engine results page feature that's shaped like a map and displays places related to a query. Typically, you'll see around 3 of these, and it clicks out to see more. Google's local pack has an internal ranking system. So there are ways to pay to get there, but it's kind of you have to do certain things to get seen here. In order to appear in the first place of this pack, it's not enough to just post your business on Google My Business. You have to optimize your listing. If over time your business lacks clicks and comments, it can actually disappear from this block altogether. Google released that the local maps pack, which you see here, is in almost 30% of all searches. So that's huge. That's a lot of available real estate for local businesses to use. So let's look at how to optimize our listings. Google My Business listing is completely free, so that's a plus, and it allows you to highlight the best features of your business to help customers find what they are looking for quickly. That was the intention of creating these listings for Google. I highly recommend taking advantage of all of the available optimizations within your Google My Business profile. These include your descriptions, and of course, make them keyword focused, uploading quality photos like pics of your storefront, staff photos so people know who they may be working with, even photos of your front desk or your parking lot so people know what to expect when they get there. You can post appointment links right in your profile as well. You can add categories for your business type. There are primary and additional. So you'll want to put, like, if you're an ice cream shop, you'd want to put ice cream first, but maybe in that example, you'd also want to add coffee as well. And of course, update your service listings if you're a service type business. One thing, Google My Business optimization is very similar to to search engine optimization for a website page. You want to make sure that the relevant keywords that someone may be typing in to find a business like yours is on your listing. So if there's a service that, maybe your actual business name doesn't align with your services exactly, you definitely want to make sure that the services are listed on your Google My Business profile so your listing will rank when someone is searching for that service. Also, if you have a promotion, Google allows you to add offers, which will show on your profile, and products. So if you are a product business, you can add those as well, and it clicks right through to your website. Even events, you can post an event and you set a time and a date and how long you have before the event, and it'll actually take itself down when the event happens. But that's a great way to try and get more awareness for an event that you're hosting. And of course, posts. So if you write a new blog post or you have a new web page that you just added to your website and you want to try and get more eyeballs on it, you can add that as a post on your Google My Business account. So that kind of wraps Google My Business. Finally, we'll look at what's on the horizon for search, what to look out for in the future. These are the 4 emerging verticals of search. We just talked about this one. Local is huge right now, and it's only going to grow. We can only expect for local search it's already changed so much, and I'm sure it'll change more in the future, but the more that you can start increasing the usage of local, like your physical location, like I used Lafayette, Louisiana in the focus keyword for my ice cream example. You'll want to start utilizing that if applicable on your website pages to help rank. And then there's a lot of other local SEO optimization techniques that are a little bit more technical, so you'll probably need the helping hand of an agency or a webmaster to help you. But I highly recommend really taking advantage of everything that's offered through Google My Business for free first. We talked about image search in one of our examples, so I can only imagine that Google's search engine results pages are going to start to look more and more like almost like social media sites. We're going to see more images, more videos, less text. It's already starting to happen. I would expect it to happen more. So utilizing images on your website and optimizing them as well. Like we said, putting it on your website and optimizing for the focus keywords is going to be extremely important moving forward. Voice search, well, first video search. Again, we didn't really talk too much about video specifically, but Google, if you don't know, owns YouTube. So when you post a video on YouTube and have your title, your description of the video, that is all what pulls into the Google search engine results page. So I would highly recommend, if you create a video series to start utilizing search engine optimization using video, I would highly recommend using those focus keywords in your video title, in the video description. And of course, you can post those videos on your website as well. And then lastly is voice search. There are more and more ways nowadays to optimize your website for Alexa and Google Homes. And obviously more and more people are including these devices in their homes and in their lives. I'm trying to not say Alexa too loud because she's going to hear me and say, can I help you? I have one now, but when the Alexas and the Google Homes of the world first came out, everyone thought it was going to make a bigger splash than it ultimately did. I think it takes some people a little bit more time to utilize new technology, but I would expect for voice to grow even more as time keeps going and they optimize these devices to kind of fit better in our daily lives. So voice search, there's things that you can do on your website. So if someone does say, Alexa, and ask a question, or, tries to pull up a recipe, your site will be more likely to rank above your competitors because you're already optimized for the service. So that pretty much wraps my presentation for today. I hope I helped answer a couple questions that you may have had about SEO, and hopefully it's not so scary to you anymore. Yeah, Jillian, is there anything else?
Lauren, thank you for sharing the world of SEO with us today. As a reminder to our listeners, if you have questions about this presentation or you'd like to request a topic to be included in this series, please contact us at hello@opportunitymachine.org. We hope you enjoyed today's topic on Click to Startup.